Catatonic behavior, um, again, that's often misperceived. Certainly, there are instances where it can be where someone is frozen, or appears to be frozen in some kind of deep state where they don't move, or they're contorted into some kind of like thing like this, like a statue. But at least in my experience, that is not that's not the norm. It's generally just someone who it's just a deep level of apathy, which gets into the negative symptoms as well. But it can be that deep frozen, not moving, even contorted into odd body, kind of frozen body movements or frozen body stances. But that's generally more just very little motor or social reaction, okay, to stimuli in their environment. Okay, so I wanted to just add another slide of catatonic behavior. Um, Again, because it is very often misunderstood, and also, um, at least in my experience, seems to be dramatized in media, film, like whatnot, in ways that are really not terribly connected to, uh, real life manifestations. Um, so catatonic behavior can also be very subtle too. So, as we saw, a decreased reactivity to the environment can be seen as what's called negativism or resistance to instructions, resistance to their daily routine. Um, Suddenly not interested in going to school, um, or um, or social interactions, things that, and again, things that they maybe normally enjoy, um, and it's just suddenly an abrupt stop. Um, so rigid, inappropriate, bizarre postures, certainly, um, those can be, and they don't have to be major things. They can be, they can be sort of much more subtle, um, like arm stiffness or leg stiffness. It doesn't. It can be dramatic, but it often isn't. Um, so mutism or stupor, certainly people can lapse into complete lack of responsiveness, and for some, and can be for an extended period of time. Again, I don't, and haven't worked exclusively in schizophrenia, but seen a good bit of it over community health and hospital, days, which were marked kind of the early years of my social work career. So I did see that stuff, um, but usually it was more subtle than that. Um, can also include excessive motor activity, and that's doesn't seem to have any purpose. So someone in the community may walk up and down, a set of city blocks. Someone just walk back and forth and back and forth. Maybe they kind of shake their head, or shake their body a little bit, like maybe walk in an odd cadence, and they'll just go back and forth, up and down the block, unending, seemingly, and certainly without any purpose. So, and that's considered catatonia as defined in the DSM. So, and then you see other things, repeated stereotype movements, again, like head shaking, staring, at people or at things, grimacing, um, unresponsiveness, verbal unresponsiveness, or just verbal echoing of speech. Um, so catatonia can represent a lot of different things. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it can be very dramatic and overt, but many other times it can be much more subtle, at least in my experience.